What makes yours the best in the world?
Because I made them.
Hey guys, Doug from Pinetree Line Outdoors. I am here at the home of Tom Byers, the greatest birchbark canoe builder in the entire world. So Tom lives just out in the outskirts of town, my hometown, and he lives off the grid, and it's just a beautiful place here in front of a beautiful river. And I'm going to show you a little bit what Tom does, beautiful birchbark canoes he builds, and we'll get to know Tom a little bit here.
Robertson, I must have dreamed you, 'cause your kisses are too good to be true. I'm dreaming with you all the while, scheming with you and your smile. You try not to say things to bust my bubble. I try not to see things that might be trouble. Twitching pup, don't wake me up.
I grew up 5 miles north of a little town called Cardinal, Ontario. It's south of Ottawa, about 60 miles. Once I realized how much room to roam there is here in the north, I never wanted to go back. Well, I miss the south. I love the land there, but it's just so confining in so many ways. I think in the north, everyone's kind of in the same, it's like a level playing field. Nobody's better than anybody else. If you just want to manufacture something to make money, you won't choose Birchbark canoes. Welcome to the shop, Doug. Come on in. So these ribs have been drying in here for about 4 or 5 days now. When the ribs are really wet, they still want to do this. They want to open up still.
And how long did it take you to get to this point?
Oh man, it usually takes me at least a month, sometimes 2.
Right. Where's this customer from?
She's from Kentucky. I think in the beginning I was trying so hard to do everything in the most meticulous way possible. It seemed like that was the goal, to try and make the most carefully done birchbark canoe. And at a certain point I realized that that just wasn't letting it breathe. I think you have to let it be imperfect. So the more I allowed it to breathe, the more I allowed it to be more relaxed, I think the better my canoes got. At the same time, I was often building for people who were going on long extended trips in them. And so I had to build canoes that were completely functional and that would take a real beating. So I had to choose the best bark, how to build them as well as I could, because people's lives were depending on it. So nobody's drowned yet that I heard of, and nobody's had to go down with their ship.
What other cities or countries have you sold to?
Basically all over the world, from you name it, Australia, Hawaii, all over the States, France, Germany, Norway, Holland, places I can't remember right now. It's 87 canoes. I think the thing that happened way back when I was building my first canoe, I started carving a gunnel, which is the long rails along the top. And I was working on it, and I thought I'd been working for about maybe 15, 20 minutes. And I looked at the clock, and it was 5 hours later. And that's when I first got an inkling that I was doing something I was supposed to do. I think one of the most important things is point out that the Birchbark Canoe is the single greatest invention in the world. And it was invented by native peoples. And I want that we should all be proud of that. And not lose the knowledge on how to build. I learned from every possible source I could get my hands on. Books, movies, especially the Caesar's canoe film, the National Film Board film. I learned a lot from watching that. I didn't try to disregard any information I got from anywhere, from any place, and then tried to incorporate it into the building and see if it was actually true and see if it actually worked, you know. A lot of people have a kind of, I don't know what to call it except kind of militant ignorance. It's like, we can't learn from this, or we can't learn from this book because it's a book, or we can't learn from this video because it's a video and it's not true. I think that's the wrong-headed way to do it. I think we have to be open to learn from, the more ways you know something, the better you know it. As a builder, I mean, you soon find out what works and what doesn't, and whether it was probably true or not. Almost everything is made of cedar, except the crossbars. Actually, in this one, I've used a black ash sapling to split to do the stem piece. Obviously birch bark, this is like bark that was peeled in the summertime, and this one was peeled when the weather was cooler, so it's dark, has an extra layer.
So that's why it's a different color.
Yeah, and this is the one that you can wet down and put all your engravings on. See, like when I was talking about the winter bark before, the winter bark, you can just wet it down. First of all, it really makes it pop, eh, when it gets wet. Grab your knife. Scratch the dark layer off. That shows the light underneath, the light bark underneath. So this will all be covered with spruce gum afterwards. One of the hardest things to do is to find good birch bark. This piece of bark right here is just about perfect. Because one of the things you look for in birch bark is that it has flexibility. So you should be able to fold this without it breaking. You can fold it across the grain without it breaking. And you should be able to bend it this way without it breaking. At least a little bit. And you can see this bark is so, oh, there goes one that popped. But this bark has a lot of flexibility in it. And that's what you're looking for. It was, I think the thing that changed, that started me on the path, was walking into a trading post and looking up and seeing a birch bark canoe hanging from the ceiling. And it was the most striking looking thing I'd ever seen before in my entire life. I'd never seen a birch bark canoe before, a real one. And this voice came out of it. And it said, the spirit of man and the spirit of the earth are one in the birch bark canoe. And that this is what can be accomplished when man works with nature rather than against it. And I wasn't drunk, I wasn't on drugs. It was like a real vision that left me kind of dazed. Like, did that really happen? I kind of doubted whether it was true, whether I really had that experience for a few days. And then I realized that, yeah, it really happened. And so that's what started me on the path in the first place. And that's when I knew that I had to eventually try and at least build one. I get a mix kind of, some people are just collecting, or other people want to display them in their camps or their cottages. This one guy from Germany, Dirk Rohrbach, paddled his 3,000 kilometers down Yukon River. Other people have taken him on the old Voyageur routes, giving them a real workout, you know. The rest mostly are canoes I built in native communities. And just a lot of people just want them just for their own personal use too. Original Birchbark Canoe, right? It's a completely different feel. It sounds different, it feels different. And that's what people are wanting to connect with. They want to connect with Earth. Lots of people use black spruce roots. It depends on the location where you are and what you got. Black spruce, jack pine works good. Some people even use cedar roots, but those are the main ones. What am I going to do with this hole?
Yes.
Well, I'm just going to put a bit of spruce gum on there. I needed this piece of bark even though it had a hole in it. I wanted to try and match this, because every piece of bark is like a fingerprint. Every piece is different. Every tree is different. Even sometimes on the same tree you get a different texture. And what I tried to do here was use the same bark from the same tree on the end of this end of the canoe as I used on the other end. So, and this was the last piece I had. It was either put this one with a hole in it and put some spruce gum in it, or use a different color.
So I guess it's impossible to make a birchbark canoe without some splits.
Oh, you absolutely can't, because it's a flat piece of bark when it comes off the tree, and there's no way to make it conform to a canoe shape without putting these gores in. It just can't take that shape. Spruce gum, a little bit of bear fat will all go on the seam and the seam, all the way up here, probably, maybe even up to about here. Well, spruce gum itself can be pretty glassy without, and in fact this is kind of, could probably use a bit more fat in it. It's pretty, like I say, glassy. It will break, it will crack in the cold if it doesn't have bear fat in it. So the bear fat makes it more flexible. The future of the birchbark canoe, there's always going to be a few people in every generation that need to keep it going, that have that in their spirit to keep it going. Well, being the world's greatest birchbark canoe builder, I have a lot to share. And I've learned a thing or two over the last 87 canoes that a lot of people trying to build now I don't know yet, and maybe I can help them. People don't want to be told. I have to wait for them to come and ask me. One of the things I wanted to say most was that because so few people have even seen a birchbark canoe for 150 years, nobody really knows what a decent, functional birchbark canoe looks like. So you can get away with murder, and some people are. I can't really say my techniques are different. I just know that the end product is a lot different.
And what makes yours the best in the world?
Because I made them.